I have been numpties. Tis episode 88 of the Boundless Shores.
I hate this.
People
Oh,
are going to watch the
man.
video and wonder why there's no intro.
Truly a mystery.
88 episodes of putting up with that. I love it. I love it. Episode 88 of the Boundless Shores. I was your host forever. The fucking up the Scottish accent. It's just so much fun. Next week might be French, and that's even worse. So
That would be
get
worse.
ready for that.
I'm busy next week, apparently.
Ah, au revoir, man. Last week. Oh, I'm back.
Sometimes it takes a level of bravery to make such dedicated decisions.
Yeah.
Stand by it.
Fuck it. Alistair can do the recap.
Okay. Well, ultimately, after meeting up with and departing from the Resistance, we acquired the information about the best way, or at least the means by which we would be able to destroy Caballus's heart. And to that end, we need to seek someone far more skilled inside of mundane craft than any amongst our party. So we've decided that the best course of action is to go back to Valebridge and Calamdoon. Because the dwarves there, they're clever folk. They got the craft skills. At the same time, there was some profound events unfolding as far as the relationship between Bobonic and Beckett, whereupon Bobonic has in fact altered his form to reflect the choice of Beckett's clerical options.
I feel like you're missing some important parts here.
Well, then feel free to step in.
I actually don't remember if this was last session. When did we build Ego his body?
The one prior to that.
Okay, cool.
Also, for the viewers who are listening, it wasn't Ragnar, it was Arcanos. For the patron.
True.
Yes, that is true. Really, I thought Ego was last session.
Well, if it was, then I shall happily recap that. Beckett and I had traversed through the means of the mask medium from inside of the portable hole, or enveloping pit rather, to travel over to Ego's realm, whereupon, thanks to the clever efforts of Beckett, we went from constructing a massive flawed bomb into a stable alchemical compound to bring, or rather to bind uh, Ego's body, or rather his spirit, over to a alchemical golem body, which has now set itself free upon the boundless shores. Heaven help us all.
I think that about wraps it up. Just to catch all of us up to speed, our party split between some of them lounging and relaxing in the hole, or helping bring back one of, if not the most horrible mortal terror known to man. Uh, I believe it was Calduin and Tobin, and I believe Golem for a short period all traveled above ground across the newly constructed bridge, and now within the uh, desert uh, continent of Veilbridge, you guys traveled down the Damascus Road to Anatuan's Crossing, that T crossing that make up the entirety of the desert road system of Veilbridge. It's literally two roads. Um, where you stopped to rest in the cluster of rocks just off to the side. Um, I don't know. I have no idea. So let's just fade ourselves in here in the morning. But before we do that, can you guys just quickly describe how you guys set up sleeping for this evening? Are you guys sleeping in the hole? Do you leave watch? Um,
Pretty sure we were doing watch because that's when Becca was on watch was when that whole thing went down with
is that what happened? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
perfect. So we are waking up the following morning. Perfect. Thank you for getting me on track. Um, the day is completely up to yours. Whoever wants to awaken first and start us out, go ahead.
I get up at my usual early time and do some quick reps before everybody else gets up. Some early training.
Alduin, you um, awoke just before the sun crests over the horizon as you climb uh, the stairwell, excusing whoever was last on break, or on watch, sorry. Um,
Yeah, that was Beckett.
No,
that
it was
would have been
Yonatan.
Beckett. You, Jonathan, you tap Yonatan on the shoulder as he's kind of in and out of sleep, but still, keeping his mind's eye open as you tap him and let him go down to the hole and catch a quick rest before the day truly starts, as you feeling the cool sand between your toes, the warming wind that's just slightly brisking through from the south, the humidity, the dryness in the air, not the humidity. It's a wrong spectrum. A lot of misspeaks today. What's wrong with me? I'll get back into the groove. Um, the air wraps around you in a familiar blanket. Um, you returned home after several months of being away. I can't even remember your last visit here. Was probably the first time you guys came to Scorchtown. Or not the first time. Maybe it would have been the first time. I'm not sure. But the last time you were here, when you picked up Layla. Um, is there anything in particular that you get up to in the evening, or the morning breeze? Hell's wrong with me?
I climb out after climbing out of the hole, prepared for training. I just stop and take in my surroundings. I just take a deep breath in, enjoying the familiar air, and just looking around and seeing the beauty that most people wouldn't see.
Works.
And then after a while, I start doing some sword drills.
I think also returning to his home, Tobin, you wake with a sense of, I wouldn't say urgency, but there's fire under your ass, so to speak.
Supposed to be there.
And the growing worry of your father, and and obviously everything else that's on your plate now. Another thing, you returning home, your morning, the first thing you think of when you wake up is of Layla and how she's doing, and how returning home used to be an excuse that you could go over and see your friend Layla, but now she's off in the world doing who knows what. It's been a little bit since you received any word from them. With that in mind, how do you awaken, Tobin?
I wake up.
When I wake up.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, when Tone gets up, he'll stretch for a bit. Careful, going to hit his stretch, and then careful not to hurt Mivney, who's like curled up next to him. You get up and seeing that most people are still asleep, he'll just decide to go get some fresh air and let the morning the nice warm morning breeze before it gets scorching hot help him start his day. And when he gets up to the top and sees Caldwin out there practicing his sword drills, he thinks to himself, "Oh, this is so much better than having to like think about things." And then so he'll walk over. Mind if I join you? As he's like rubbing the sleep out of his eyes.
More the merrier.
Good. And he'll ready himself into like a sparring position to just get some practice in with Caldwin rather than think about any of the alternative stuff that he has no
How
power
are you
over.
doing?
Orgolan stirs next, in a way, also returning home. Being so close to home for him after the last time he was there, and the things that he had to do, and now re-meeting his sister, he finally has the news to bring home to his family, and so Orgolan begins to stir and slowly pack up his gear. And while he does that, Alistair, shuffling beside you, kind of stirs you. As would you be down in the bedroom level? Would you not?
That would have been where I would have been.
Yeah. Where do you have the rest of the gang posted up in your hole?
Probably I would have just opened it up as a free for all, with the exception of the bottom floor bathroom. most of the top floor is probably occupied with our various animal companions, i.e., the inclusion of lavender in there. So basically, shop level and workshop level would have been most of the open options. And if anyone wanted to pull up a rug over inside of the bedroom level.
Yeah, I'll say you and Golan room meet up this evening. As he's sleeping on the rug, as you're on the comfy ass bed. But I mean, he's used to sleeping on a mat, so monk things. You hear shuffling beside you that makes you stir as well.
If you need breakfast, Xenia knows where the ration box is.
Can you let the guys know that I'm going to be heading south for a little bit to return home for the meantime while we're taking a couple of weeks off.
South to visit family, gotcha.
That he climbs up the ladder, seeing that no one else has stirred yet. He makes his way to the top, seeing Tobin and Calduin sparring together. So you guys see Urgolin emerge fully packed with his gear on.
Ready to go already? We haven't even had breakfast yet.
I can't sleep. I just gotta get down there. Being this close is just...
What?
I'll be back soon. I gotta go home.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll probably be in Scorch Town after we're done in Kalamdoon.
I'll meet you guys at the forge.
If you can, make a stop by the village. See how they're doing.
He nods and begins to briskly walk south towards the Ragnar Rocks. And was never heard from again. He died. Dun dun dun!
He's walking straight towards the
Don't we
rocks.
have a
Is he going to
fucking...
go around or... No, he's going right over them.
Catch some sand scrap while you're out.
We need more...
We need more
Smoke
jerky.
sand scrap.
I don't remember what the cool custom one I requested is, but I remember it was funny, so somebody should do it.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I can't remember. I knew you requested one, but I can't remember what it was.
I know it would have been funny.
Alas.
Tobin shrugs and they just go back to sparring.
Last to wake up would be Beckett, who... Your dreams last night were not... You couldn't describe them as pleasant, to be frank.
Beckett having bad dreams? No way.
But it felt different in a way. Not as dark and as directed as some of your dreams have been. These... It was weird. You explored many different scenarios, worlds, ideas, but the retention of them, they came like lightning, so you couldn't really catch anything. It was exciting, it was mystery, but it was anything but clear.
Do I know why they weren't clear? Like, am I able to tell if, like, it's because I'm not feeling well or something?
Make me either a religion or history check, your choice.
Okay. Um, okay. That is a 23 for knowledge religion,
23
sorry.
for religion. In the study of deities, there is 4 main archetypes when it comes to study.
Right.
Is good, evil, law, and chaos. Your particular study has never been on the law to chaos spectrum where Arcanos lies. What you know of Arcanos is that he is as mysterious as he is stoic. He is not one to have a conversation with a lowly mortal like yourself. He will show glimpses of power. He will give you small threads to tug. To have a conversation with a god of this magnitude is unfathomable. You recall reading the story of how he grew his second head when, after the war, during the time before time, Arcanos was left instruction to guard the scrolls of time.
Right.
And he read the scrolls of time. It drove him insane, but it also gave him the vast knowledge and power to manipulate the fabric of reality that he grew a second head from the second before he read the scrolls, which is why he has what is known as the prophet head and the judge head. The prophet is the insane older one who has read the scrolls and knows time, past, present, and future as it is, as it was, as it always will be. That's why your dreams are vivid yet elusive.
Okay.
Is you have now the power to possibly be leaked to the squalls themselves. What do you do as you wake?
I'm in the boat, right? Or the hole, not the boat.
In the hole, wherever you want to be posted up in.
Is this before or after Alistair yells for breakfast?
Alistair's not yelled for breakfast, I think. I don't remember.
He just kind of told our goal, and you know where the food box is, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She'll probably. Uh.
You're probably sure on the workshop level, and as you wake, you look across from you, seeing Calduin's sleeping pad is empty, so he's presumably up above on the surface or elsewhere in the hole.
Right.
He got kidnapped again.
Yeah. She'll probably.
Gotta keep a bell on him.
um. Seeing Orgolan gone, Beckett assumes that he's probably gone for breakfast, so she's gonna make her way to the food area and see if she can find him.
And Alistair, you said Lavender knows where the food box is?
Zinnia.
Or Xenia knows. Xenia knows. So you head up to the highest layer where you see Zinnia is currently prying to sections of what used to be a Titan arm shoulder plate. As just for continuity, could you just briefly describe Zinnia again for Beckon?
Zinnia looks like a tiny flesh golem version of a dwarf. It's just covered inside of stitch marks, but it's basically like your typical imagining of what a flesh golem would look like if it was modeled after a dwarf the size of a house cat.
Gotcha.
Mr. Beckett.
Good morning. How are
may I
you?
be of service this morning?
Well, I came to see if the rest of the group was down here. I'm seeing that they're not.
3 upstairs. 2 downstairs. The master has not woken yet.
Ah, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. She's going to head upstairs.
You climb the ladder as you do. The bright desert sun beams upon your face, warming your skin as you honestly immediately start to sweat. It's a desert as you climb up, seeing Tobin and Calduin, who've just ended their training session together. They're just leaning up against the rocks, drinking some water.
Morning, guys.
Morning. How'd you sleep?
Not bad. I've had worse.
Our goaled's gone. Went to go see his family.
I was wondering where he went. Does he know when he's coming back?
Didn't
Not
say, but we told him we'd meet him in Scorchtown after we're done in Callum Dune.
Okay.
Alistair climbs out of the pit with the provision box in tow. All right. Everyone up for some breakfast?
Oh, good. I was just gonna head down there as Tobin wipes some sweat off his brow and heads over to the provision box to get himself some grub.
Oh, looks like we've got some black currant cordial. Uh, looks like some hair, smoked peaches, bacon rashers. Ooh, nice. Okay. Uh, does anyone particularly care for some sourdough loaves? It looks like.
Ooh.
Sure.
Start handing out all of the provisions. That's the one thing that I can say about this box. You never know what you're going to get.
Mhm.
You see, mid bite, Yonatan pipes out. He goes, "You guys mind if I meet you guys at the forge and head over there a little bit early while you guys are in Callum Dune?"
Sure.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but it feels as though we're starting to spread ourselves thin. If someone wanted to take us on, it seems like easy pickings. Keep an eye out.
Well, you
Watch
got
your
most
back.
of the heavy hitters.
Yeah,
These
well,
cordials really nice.
Sourdough.
just, just keep your eyes open.
Of course, yeah. I just have some. I want to work on my my magic a little bit,
Well,
and
maybe
better to do that distantly in a desert where no one can hurt.
yeah,
No one being me can hurt anyone.
Just be
yeah,
worried of the
maybe
wildlife.
Oh, you worried that I can't handle a little bit of wildlife?
They're not
I
as
tamed a griffin.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Practical studies makes for a good teacher. Starts to neck the bottle of cordial.
just yeah, do your training out in the desert. Preferably don't burn down my family's forge.
Well, what? They
Or
don't
any.
call it Scorched Town for nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to hear your flame jokes yet. Just because you say you've mastered it doesn't really mean much.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Context. My bad. Anyways, the early board scorches the town, so I'll see you guys later.
Have fun.
You see his wings sprout out from his shoulder blades, spread like wildfire as they take form into his beautiful wings. As he flaps and has a bit of a clumsy takeoff at first, and he steadies himself and says, "I'll see you guys soon. Be safe."
Right.
As he flies off, you see him kind of veer to the left a little bit before he recourses and then heads wherever direction you are, west to Scorchtown. Something like that.
Well, if we're just about done eating, should we start making our way towards the forge?
Yeah,
sounds like a plan.
yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and start up a project with Zinnia, and then I'll join you guys up topside. Okay?
Yep.
Sounds
Anybody who's not comfortable walking in the sand is welcome to hang out in the hole.
You see in the background, Calduin is literally like swan diving and butterfly swimming in the sand.
Goes up, does like the whole dolphin.
Love it. Do you know would be fun to just take this quick segment and could you possibly describe you and Zinnia's work in crafting an item?
Sure. Looking through the various resources inside of the workshop, Alistair remembers that he has a drawer of assorted uncut gems and starts to peer through trying to find a particular thumb-sized ruby that he remembered picking up several months ago. Yeah, it's gonna need some cutting, but I think this should work. Zinnia, we're going to be setting this up for a socketed fixture for my armor.
Wonderful. I shall get the drills. You see, Zinnia begins to pull different drawers out and begins to set. How many limbs does Zinnia have?
Oh, he just has the 2 arms, 2 legs.
All right, fair enough.
Think dwarf, bro.
I think it'd be cool if he had like little claw arms.
I mean, we know a lot of dwarves that use mage hands.
You know, think Hu Yang from Star Wars,
Mm.
the lightsaber builder.
I know who Yang is.
Good. He begins to pour through the drawers and pull out various tools and chisels, preparing the. I always forget, a brainstorm. What it's called?
My arcane etcher runs on Cinebril.
Cinebril, something with a B. He prepares the Cinebril and gets your workplace set up. He begins to sweep around the area and just make it clean for you. He says, "Your bench is prepared, my master."
Excellent. I'm going to need to start cutting this into something of a torus shape, and after that, we're going to need to inlay the runes for it.
I shall begin cutting, my lord.
Thank you. Meanwhile, Alistair starts to flip through a couple of the volumes that line some of the shelves by the workbench for assorted researching runes. I'm thinking the best way to go about this is to tap into some of the chaos runes, some of the strength runes, and some of the precision runes. I intend to enchant this ruby into a rubicund frenzy. It'll at least make me a bit more formidable in combat to come, should it come to that.
It's an excellent choice, my lord.
But a dangerous one. It only activates when I've been harmed half to death.
That is why we have bodyguards.
I believe they prefer being called companions, but your point stands.
Ah, yes. Excuse my mouth, my lord. You guys begin working away. Do you want to maybe describe your work process as the cutting is complete and you we've heard you etch in runes before. Is there any part of the process that you would like to share? Or is this just a lot of run-of-the-mill stuff of Alistair tinkering away with Zinnia?
This one I think is more of just the typical tinkering back and forth. Uh, I'm going to take 10 on the use magic device check in order to make it a smooth sail.
You got the skill, might as well use it.
Exactly.
Is there any other conversation that takes place on the road to Callum Dune?
Did Azrael or whatever Beckett's new name is stick around, or is that just, or is they like off doing their own thing now?
No, Azrael is still there. Yeah, honestly, that is something that you do clock, is that Azrael is now, instead of a blood-stained crow, stands as a beautiful white falcon.
Yeah, I'm also curious with the, like, I know Mivni's still like new and everything, but being like spawn of Arcanos and Tyrael, technically, I'm curious how Mivni reacts to this new like being that I guess resonates with Arcanos.
For Mivni, go ahead and roll me a Knowledge Arcana.
Sure, hold on. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty little naughty 20 there.
Little
All
naughty
right.
20.
Little naughty slutty 20. Mivni's voice purges within your mind as she says, the energy of that one's bird is different, complex.
Different how? Well, obviously, like, I can tell it looks different.
My first diagnosis would have said that prognosis is a better word. My first prognosis was that this was a creature of darkness. But now that I see it, that was just a facade. I'm surprised I hadn't seen through it. This being is created by Arcanos.
Hmm. Um, Beckett, so is that supposed to be um why the fuck can't I remember the damn bird's name?
Bubonic.
Bubonic?
He was bubonic or is bubonic? If I'm
Maybe
honest, I'm not 100% sure. But
Mibby's telling me that he seems like related to Arcanos. Do you know what that's all about?
Beckett knows all this, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know this.
Okay.
This was your conversation when he shed the
Okay.
dark facade and revealed himself to be Azrael.
Right. Okay. I was double checking. Yeah. Bubonic is now shit. What's the name, Wes?
Azrael,
Azrael. Thank you. Uh, Bubonic is
like
now.
the angel or the DC character.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The DC character.
Exactly it.
um. Yeah, Bubonic is now Azrael. Um. Yeah.
It is a pleasure to fully make your acquaintance. You see the bird almost somehow in a way bows.
Okay. Um, so what exactly does that mean? Was bubonic like your familiar or just a pet? Or I hope the term pet isn't offensive, Mr. Azrael, as Tobin bows back.
I am what you need me to be, my friends.
I've kind of always viewed Bubonic as both almost, but also kind of a friend. So I think Azrael will fill the same space.
what does that mean for you then? If bubonic in this more dark form was a form of your familiar, and now you've got this new falcon-looking version.
Well, he's still kind of bubonic. He's just in a different form. So
Right, but I'm asking about you. Like, if a familiar typically has to do with like the source of your powers, and obviously you've cut ties with Jeshima, so does that mean you're like, I guess, patron is Arcanos now somehow?
yeah, I guess I haven't looked too far into it yet, if I'm honest. But
You
Yeah, I
I
see
guess.
think
Azrael nodding his head, um, in agreement.
with me or with Tobin?
Well, with just the general like
Oh, the general conversation.
shift in patronage of, you've cut ties with Jeshima, and now the poison is less of a patron, more as now a moral adversary or friend.
Oh, and with that, Tobin's gonna wait a second as he's gonna activate detect magic and look at Beckett's neck.
The magic has faded. It is now just a tattoo.
And then Tobin's
The
gonna
sense of control that Jeshima had over Beckett has faded because Beckett has now chosen to walk a different path.
Tobin, as his eyes are glowing, will just kind of begin to smirk and just that's good. It seems like her hold on you is entirely gone as far as I can tell. That definitely gives me hope for our future endeavors with he who shall not be named.
Mhm.
That's awesome, Beckett.
Thank you. I'm happy with it. So, yeah.
Well, I guess
As
keep us updated on your new patronage. Hopefully, it goes better than the last one.
Yeah, the last two.
the promise that you made to Calduin rings through your ears. His voice repeats in your mind. No more secrets.
Oh
The
god, sorry,
twin
go.
conjoined. Oh, sorry. Did you have something that you wanted to add?
No, you're good.
The wind conjoined mountains that make up the great fortress forge of Kalemdun urge over the horizon and crawl towards you as you make your way down the desert road. We're going to take a quick break and we'll return very soon.
Very good.
The Adenawul approaches the towering mountains. That large golden door uh, makes up the entrance to Kalemdun. Uh, the first thing you guys notice the last couple times you've been here, the door has been wide open during working hours. It is now closed to a certain point that only like probably the size of a double door entrance can make it through those heavy doors.
Um,
Standing, go on.
as that like obviously you said the last two times we were here, but has that happened as long as Tobin's like been coming to and from here?
Never. They even went back in the day when you frequented here with your father, even at nights they wouldn't close the door.
Okay.
But now is plucked to a small crevice almost that you have to pass through, standing outside the doorway amongst large crimson banners of Pax Vindicta. You see clusters of Sanguiscythe and a few dwarves fully armed standing near the entrance.
Well, this is wonderful. I don't suppose they'll just let us through. What do you guys think?
Am I
Yeah.
topside by this point, or am I still in the hole?
As you guys
Okay.
arrived, everyone was called up to the surface for everyone to get in on the plane.
I'd like to avoid dealing with the conflict of dealing with a swarm of constructs right now, if that is in the cards.
Yeah. Well, we could. I was gonna say we could
Go
head back.
ahead, Tobin. If you would be so kind. I don't have a fucking character sheet near me, so I can't tell you what to roll. Give me 1 second. I don't even have dice prepared. What the hell is wrong with me? Tobin, go ahead and roll me a sense motive check. Just a general sense motive check.
Okay. 5. Tobin's not super wise.
No. Yeah, I don't think you draw any insight from that.
What I was gonna say is we could head to Scorchtown and see if what was his name? Percy, the kid who's working there right now?
Yeah.
See if he's still making deliveries there, and maybe he could get in there and talk to the boss man and see what he knows, or maybe he'll have some information we don't know. But I don't know. I feel odd conscripting a kid to do that kind of thing, even though he's like probably only 2 years younger than me, if that.
But we're already here. We might as well at least try.
I suppose so, but there's also then the chance that we end up in combat with those constructs that you didn't want to be in combat with.
Only if we manage to aggravate them, I would think. They have not seemed
Amongst
to
the
strike
Adinawool.
out.
What are you on about?
Yeah, no, continue your thought there, and then I have a question for you guys.
Even though we've trespassed onto converted cities to the Pax Vindicta, they've never actually lashed out at us as long as we did not instigate.
I guess that's true.
If we at least approach, if they tell us to depart, we can easily depart.
Okay.
At least that's my thought.
I don't know.
Amongst the Adinawool, who do you think would be best to read body language?
I have a 17 in sense motive.
Yeah, you've dealt with many a people, some shady, some good, and you've had to smart your way in and out of deals, especially back in the times that you've worked with Cabales. You know how to read people, whether they're shifty, whether they're lying, whether they're uh, scared, whether they have the intent to kill. Like you've studied and trained that out of survival. I would go ahead and roll me a sense motive, please.
We'll do 19.
19. Did you roll a fucking 2?
Yeah, I roll a 2.
Jesus Christ, your dice.
My reroll was an 18.
That's better. You look upon the dwarves that are outside. Um, they're armored, but it's hot. So they're obviously like they have their helmets off. They have a few sections of their armor exposed to allow a breeze, if that helps in this weltering sun. Um, you notice the unease between um the dwarves and the sanguicides. Um, they, constantly kind of shifting their vision towards them, but not maintaining eye contact. You also get a sense of a solidarity that, like, you see that, like, there's a lot of sanguicides here, but there's also a lot of um dwarves armored up, and it seems to send like maybe try and send a message of the dwarves have their own strength and they don't need this protection, quote unquote. um you feel that you feel strongly that if you got on the good side of the dwarves that you could have a way in.
I approached Tobin and Alistair in a low voice. They're not too happy about the Sanguicides. I think there's a chance that we could be let in on their good graces.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
I suppose that the dwarves make demands of steel. They don't take too kindly when steel makes demands of dwarves.
let's see here. Um, can Tobin see any dwarves that he recognizes? That he might, him or his father know?
Do you have knowledge local?
No.
Well, actually, that's you can do that on train, can't you? No. Gather information.
Aren't I just looking at their faces? Can I not just like spot?
True. Um,
Skill or odd?
Oh yeah, I've got a magic rod. I keep forgetting about that.
Jesus Christ, you and your fucking rod. Shut up your damn asses. Um, you notice on one of the pauldrons carries the designation of a dwarvish captain. You see a younger dwarf face, kind of shorter beard, shaved a lot more around the cheeks. He's got chubby, rosy cheeks, kind of exposed. You remember him when he was younger. He used to often be one of the door checkers, who was very friendly with your father. Couple of years older than you, um, probably like late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you knew him, so he'd probably be now early to mid-30s. He's now reached the rank of captain. You see him. His shoulders are kind of like slouched as he, shifts around, looking upon the Scythe and then whispering towards one of his fellow dwarves.
Okay. After looking around, I'll kind of go back into the huddle made with Alistair and Calvin and just be like, "Well, I recognize that one. He used to run the doors. It looks like he's a captain now. I think he got along pretty well with my dad. He might be able to talk to him about getting passage."
Seems like our only shot right now.
All right. Do you think it's safe to just walk up to him, or is there a certain way we should play this?
Would I be able to discern if it would be better to wait for like a shift change or something, or
No, with your rule, I'll say, I think, with a certain amount of confidence, but also respect, approaching them would seem fine based on Alistair's idea of they have never really been violent with you except for, when you're on their territory.
Um, okay. And is captain like the highest rank out here? Like, are they like running the show as far as
Yes,
dwarves
he
go?
is the
Okay.
highest ranked dwarf out here.
And do I
Vamir
recall his
is his
name?
name.
Vamir?
Yeah, Vamir.
Okay.
Vamir. Vimir. Vamir.
All right. So I guess as long as we aren't brandishing our weapons or anything, we'll probably be okay. Do you think we should put him down in the hole for now, or should we just that's probably not good if we get into combat. Let's just keep them put
Leave them,
away.
leave them put away, peace
Yeah.
bonded. But I have an idea.
What's that?
I go back into the provision box and pull out one of the bottles of the black currant cordial, and I use fabricate on it to advance it into brandy. Then I pass it over to Tobin. I've stiffened up the drink a little bit. Consider this a gift of kind relations to help
Well,
lubricate the whole social interaction.
well, he got along with my dad, so hopefully we can figure something out. But if there's any reason that he seems I guess unwilling, perhaps this will help. All right. I guess let's head over there.
With Tobin in the forefront, the group begins to make their way towards the envoy. You guys, as you approach, you see all of the sanguicides begin to stiffen into attention. You see two of them by the door place their bodies in a way that kind of blocks the door. You see the a sanguicide standing next to Vamir. Kind of says something that gets lost in the wind. Vermeer kind of waves his hand casually and begins to walk towards you.
Yeah,
States
once
our business.
once he starts to walk towards us, we'll like stop. Vamir, it's Tobin. I'm Georgie's boy.
Young Master Toby, you look so grown.
It says you, Captain now.
Well, hard work pays off, you know.
Yeah. What seems like security's a whole lot tighter here now.
Hey, top secret projects.
Right?
I got to keep out the miscreants. Means I gotta turn you away. He chuckles to himself at his own joke and he says, nah. Stays your business. What you doing here for?
We got
A little newfie there.
we got business with the boss man. Got some questions for him.
Hi,
Any chance we could see him?
nervously kind of looks towards the Sangosites. I think I can do something about that. They're good, let them through. You see the Sangosite that said something to Vomir steps forward. I cannot permit this. I cannot permit this. The fuck you mean you can't permit this? They're good, they're safe. These individuals are on a watch list. They may not enter until clearance. I give them the fucking clearance. You do not have the authority. The fuck you mean I don't have the authority? You do not have the authority. I'm a captain of Kalamdin. You will let them enter. This will be reported. Good, fucking report it. Tell them. Tell them I let them in. They're on business. We're a fucking business. That's what we do. Now let them in. This is the first time you've ever seen a robot hesitant as it shifts back. They have been given clearance, waves its arm, and the Sangosites begin to step to the side. Be careful.
I'll give a
Mir
nod
kind
to
of whispers softly into your ear.
give him a little slight nod, like discreet nod as we just make our way in. Walk with purpose.
Upon entering, the energy feels claustrophobic. The towering crimson banners overhead, the forge roaring with life. You guys can just go ahead and make me spot checks real quick, just to see what you guys notice upon entering.
Okay.
"17.
I've got a 14.
23.
I think my skills are messed up.
Upon entering, this space is bustling with workers. You see in this main area, you see large skids with fabricated metal all ready to be shipped out near the door. Large, giant skids. These are projects that, like, I mean, for dwarves is another day, but to create something of this measure, wherever this is being shipped to, this is big.
This remind us of anything that we saw, like package wise on either the ship from the bank or the bank.
No, it's not at the packaging state yet. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
these large metal, some are like gears. Ah, who's got knowledges that you could look into some of the metal?
Architecture and engineering.
That's the one.
It's been a while since I've seen a good natty 20, so that's 44.
On a natural 20, I cannot. Wow. On a natural 20, this looks like it could be the biggest construct you've ever seen, just in pieces. The gears, the mechanisms, the limbs.
This is a problem.
About it later.
Okay.
As we're just gonna, unless there's anything else important to take note of down here, we'll probably just make our way
There
up the
is.
stairs.
Can you just give
Okay.
me 2
Yeah.
seconds, Liam? The second thing you notice, especially with the dwarves knowing their uneasiness around the Sanguicides, you see almost marching like a platoon being led by Sanguicides. You see about 24 dwarves, all looking disheveled, uh, skinnier. Their beards are less tamed, as well as their hair. They just seem
You
a
don't
lot
fuck
more
with the dwarf's
disheveled.
beard.
Calduin, with your 23, you notice red markings around their wrists and ankles, like they're being shackled.
Seems like they're not in charge anymore. It's almost looking like slavery.
Tovin grimaces a little bit, but like kind of like thinking about how much stuff they have going on, but how much the dwarves have like done for business for his father and them, wishing he could do more to help them. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's about it that you guys notice. You guys knowing where to go, begin to make your way towards Alvor's office. Approaching the door, you guys hear yelling coming from his office.
Is open, closed? What's the situation?
The closed door, you hear muffled sounds of yelling behind the door.
Um, just his voice, or
His
just a
voice
voice?
and someone else's.
Um,
With dwarvish architecture, the only way, if you want to like discreetly listen into the conversation, is to try and put your ear directly up to the door. So if anyone would like to make a move silently and a listen check, they are free to do so, or you can play this out how you would like to.
yeah. Um,
Oh, to have a Yonatan to be a fly on the wall.
yeah. What we don't know who's in there with him. That might not be a good idea to. Well, I don't think we want to risk getting caught. What do you guys think we should do here?
I agree. It's not a good idea to be making mistakes inside enemy territory.
Think we're safe to just wait here till they're done, or do you think whoever's in there is somebody we don't want to be noticed by?
Hard to tell.
If they're already in, that means that they are guests of the dwarves. They're not going to start anything if we don't start anything. And if they do decide to start something, then it becomes a dwarven incident.
Then, to avoid any further problems for our friends that already seem to be struggling, we should probably just wait here until their meeting's concluded. Yeah?
Yes.
Agreed.
We'll just wait for the meeting to conclude.
Do you wait out the conversation? Do you peer into it, or
No,
you just wait?
we're not spying on it. We don't know who's in there. We don't want to get
Okay.
anybody in trouble.
After several minutes of the muffled yelling, the door is opened abruptly and is slammed shut as you see Alvor leaving his office. You see he's lost a lot of weight. You see his golden belt around his waist just kind of loosely hangs down to his hips now. His hair is disheveled, his beautiful salt and pepper beard that is always braided in uh, with golden rings is now just disheveled and just tied together with one singular copper ring. Uh, Prince, what are you? You caught me at a bad time. I'm just leaving.
They're working you to
You
the
see,
bone.
well, not anymore. I'm fired.
Jeez. Well, we were actually.
How would you like to take on a custom commission then? That will certainly put a bit of a damper in their maw.
I think I really, really need a drink.
Listen, why don't you, we were here to see you anyways. Why don't you, come with us back to Scorch Town? We can, talk about all this somewhere without any prying eyes or ears.
Give me 20 minutes. Go up to my room and gather my things.
Right. Are we safe to wait here, or should we meet you outside?
You can wait here. If you're
Right.
harmed under my fucking mountain while I'm still in it, I'll raze it to the ground. You have my word.
Right. We'll see you soon.
I solemnly walks off down the hallway, leaving you all left alone in the hallway. After a couple of minutes after he leaves, you see his office door swings open once again as two Sanguiscythes, along with a very regally dressed looking dwarf. You could see this dwarf is plumper than the others. He wears finer clothing, he's not covered in soot. Um, his beard is sectioned off into 20 or 30 different braids, all braided down to a small golden ring with a ruby bedazzlement on the edge. As he exits the office and notices you and nods towards you politely and walks down the hallway with the single scythes.
What do you know? The workshop turned into a work camp from within.
Yeah. I, definitely got to hear what Alvor has to say. This is
So there's no
not
one in the
looking
office right now.
good.
There's no one in the office right now, and you didn't see him click the lock.
I'm going for it.
Lead us in, brother. How do you sneak in? What do you get up to in his office? His office is very bare now as he's removed a lot of his own personal trinkets from the desk. It's now just an empty desk. A couple of filing cabinets in a corner has been ruffled through, but there's still some documents still in there.
Anything that's currently inside of production is probably going to be kept fairly high and present on the desk, so that way they can refer back to the prints. I'm definitely going to.
Alvor's job was more public deals rather than internal deals. So anything that you want to discover about the project downstairs would not be in this room, especially with him being let go. I think you could safely assume that he is not in the know of what's going on downstairs.
But there would be receipts.
Not here.
Ah.
I don't think they would trust him enough to understand the full picture. That's your general idea of it. But I mean, you can still go make mischief in his office.
I'm basically going to ransack as much of the paperwork as possible, dumping it into the hole.
Excellent. You just pulling drawer by drawer, shoving paper down
I can organize
into
this
the
later.
hole. And you hear Xenia's voice from deep within the hole. I will get right on it, master.
Xenia, you are an absolute joy in my life.
That's why you crafted me, my liege. You ransack his office, taking whatever you can find. You know, the dwarvish fidget toy that Alvor forgot. Mine now. Throw it in the hole. You
Of
see
course,
a
I'm
paperweight
moving.
that.
I'm moving the drawers back into place afterwards, so that way it looks on the
Yeah.
surface like it's been untouched.
Of course. You see a copper paperweight of a large hammer. You're like, mine now. Throw that in there.
Magpie senses tingling.
After 10 minutes or so, Alvor returns with a smaller briefcase and a larger suitcase.
Elvor, I'm sure that everything that was within your office pertains to you, of course, so I hope you don't mind I helped you move. We should probably be on our way very quickly. Now.
Or I think what the first time in a couple of weeks you see his dry lips crack a smile. I don't know what's next. Promise me one thing. You'll be back to save my brethren.
I wouldn't dream of letting this remain the status quo.
We'll have much to talk about in due time.
And we have plenty of drink.
We can start you off with a brandy right now.
Oh, mother. Look. The half the bottle is down in one swig as he.
It may not be aged dwarven ale, but it's what we've got on hand.
It'll get me drunk. I'm excited to see your daddy's forge.
Yeah, me too.
With that, the Arena will migrate their way towards Scorch Town and Raymond Family Forge. You see once again walking in this Remind me of the term. It's the term of Western settlements. What were they called? Like flash towns or something?
I don't know.
Like these little settlements that popped up during trade during the West. I'm sure there was a term for that,
Yeah, I don't know.
The
like
only thing that
flash
comes to
town
mind
or
is
something
rush
like that.
is rush towns from all of the assorted gold and mining rushes.
They could also be trade towns or port towns.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he's
Okay.
thinking of. It.
I'm not sure. If you know what we're talking about, comment down below. This dusty, almost Western-esque city of slum, low-roofed houses. The people get by is the word I would say, especially now the times of struggle in this province. You see the frail yet leathery skinned folk of Scorched Town getting by. You see an old grandmother doing laundry, hanging it up on a clothesline. You see a butcher who's filleting a Sanskrat.
And this is a settlement community that we poured significant investments in.
Yeah,
I'd
but that all
imagine
comes
the
down to the
other
taxes.
settlements. Exactly. Imagine the other settlements.
Yeah.
Returning to your home, Tobin, the Riemann family forge, you see the smoke puffing from the forge as you hear the metal clang, as you assume Percy is hard at work forging horseshoes and other assorted
Um,
goods.
Before we walk in, I'll turn to Alvor and be like, "Don't be too hard on the kid about his technique. He's still pretty new, but hopefully it's at least gotten better since the last time I was here.
Hey, well, if it's bad, I got something to say.
Better you than me. Let's see what the kid's up to. I'll head in.
The door written in common, Asherati and Dwarvish as you read it. Welcome, come in, Riemann Family Forge. You push through the door with the familiar jangle of the bell above the door. You almost hoping in your heart that you'd open the door and see Layla sitting behind the counter. But instead is an empty desk with a note written very speedily by Percy saying, "In the forge, use side door." The familiar steps up to the living the living apartment above. Your father's works on display.
Um, yeah, I'll head towards the back. Just once I'm close enough to at least possibly be heard over his sound of the hammering, I'll start calling out to Percy. Percy.
Ting, 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 ting. He
Yeah,
does not hear you.
getting closer and continuing to call out. Making my way through the back door.
Huh? Someone call? Oh shit, Tobin. Hey, buddy. He smiles at you with a toothy grin. His ginger hair is mopped with sweat and grease.
Hey kid, how's business?
Good, I'm on contract right now from Callum Dune. It's a big order. 3,000 nails. It's big bucks, buddy. I made sure the shop's running great. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it.
Good. I like to inspect some of the nails he's made.
You pick up one nail and it's so thin in the center of it that as you pick it up and begin to inspect it, it snaps in your fingers.
I hope there's like I assume it's just kind of like lack of quality control. There's some good ones in there, right?
There's a few good ones in there, but there's a lot of bent, misshapen nails. A
Mhm.
lot that look like as soon as a hammer fells on it, it will snap. He is probably about 1,000 nails in, and you could probably. Go ahead and roll me a craft blacksmithing.
Okay. Um. Oh, that might be why my stats were so shit. I was looking at Mivney's sheet. um. Yeah, it'll be a dirty 20.
Dirty little naughty 20. There's probably about 50 good nails, 150 okay nails, and the rest should be remelted.
Okay. Um. Yeah, as I'm kind of sorting through them, I'll just be like, holding up a good one versus like, I'll grab like an okay one, a good one, and a bad one. Just be like, um,
At the cost of the pride of the Riemann family forge, he's doing a fine job and should keep it up.
Alvor steps forward and goes, "Buys if I may."
I mean, I feel like nails were more on you know what? Go for it, Alvor.
Oh, yeah, fucking toddler, you fucking simple-minded little boy. It's his nails, not fucking armor. You can't fucking craft it all bendy like. What are you doing? This looks like my dick in the fucking morning. You need patience, higher heat on the forge, and a hell of a lot better skill. You better get to work right now, melting all of these down, and we're gonna restart all of it. Get to work, go, 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 go. As both of them begin to, one out of fear and one out of passion, begin to snap into work, melting down these nails. And as Alvar's like, no, you strike here because it's stronger. You strike here, it'll break. You're being a fucking idiot. Go back, and back. Do it again. No. Trash. Melt it down. Do it again.
So passive sabotage is now off the table for whatever they're making.
Don't.
I will not see craftsmanship like a fucking wee baby coming out of Riemann family forge.
I I understand your point, Alistair, but you don't want a dwarf from Callum Dune, especially not Alvor, to see this kind of craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship. If this is craftsmanship, I'm a fucking prostitute.
Well, I'll tell you this, within not too long, person will either be a whole lot better at this or a whole lot less involved.
You can see tears already streaking down his face. He's like, "I'm cheating! Do it again!"
Um,
Oh, that
right.
takes me back 30 years.
Takes me back 5. um, as as Alfred's yelling at the poor kid, Tobin's gonna make his way up to his dad's office. Alvar's looking for a drink. I'm gonna go find us some wine. I'm sure my dad's got a few bottles.
Entering your father's forge is like the first time you step through the doors of a funeral. You see your father everywhere in this room. His terrible handwriting on scratch notes sprawled across his desk. You see a shrine to Jesh, pictures of her and him together, and a black rose upon a table. You see half designed swords and armor and more efficient horseshoes and a stronger way to make a pickaxe, all half designed, pinned up on a corkboard.
Yeah. Obviously, looking at the shrine is more melancholy. Just like just seeing the state he was in before he finally left to seek her out, and knowing, or not necessarily knowing, but knowing that he's not exactly safe now. Um, doesn't feel great, but seeing the designs helps to cheer him up a little bit. Just seeing that he was, at least before he finally broke, he was still working hard, doing what he loved to do. Tobin's gonna grab the photos and such from the shrine, the rose, whatever, and just like almost in a state like a lack of emotion, not angry, not sad, somewhere in between, like just kind of neutralized. He's gonna walk over to the fireplace in his father's office and throw them in before striking a match to, or if put some wood in there and burning anything related to his mother photo wise.
As you strike the match, you notice on the mantle is a letter addressed to you.
Is it in his handwriting?
It is in his handwriting.
I'll throw the match down, throwing in the photos, and turn my attention to the letter.
As the rose catches flame, you hear a hiss, almost like a distant scream, waft and disappear in the smoke.
Yeah, I'll open the letter.
My dear boy, Whatever adventures you may be on at this moment, know that my heart and mind is with you always. I've hidden a lot from you, a side of me that I've been ashamed to show you. I let you live in a lie that someone else created. My mind in this moment has been drifting back to your mother. I feel in my dreams her hand, her voice calls to me. I have to go. I have to answer the call. I don't know. Letter fades for a moment as the writing disappears below. The thoughts continue. Below he continues the letter. I know I leave our shop in capable hands. Please visit Percy and help guide him. Your friend Layla. Your friend Layla deserves to know the truth. Go speak with her grandparents when you have a moment, when you return home, when you read this. I'm sorry I hid this from you as well. Till I see you again next. Your father and your biggest supporter, Dad.
I'm a little confused about the timeline of this letter because oh no, because like because wasn't there another letter that originally told me that like he went looking for Jeshima?
This seems like it was written before,
Okay, that's what I was
because this
thinking.
letter does not seem complete. And
Yeah.
especially with how it trailed off in the moment, it seems like an incomplete letter that he was going to write to you and then ultimately wrote the other letter, and then now you find this one.
Okay. That's what I thought. Um, I'm gonna put that letter in my bag. Um, and I'll take a look around to see if he has any bottles of wine.
Yeah, you below his desk is a small liquor cabinet that he keeps a few of his finer whiskeys, a few of his more vintage wines.
Um, so yeah, so I'll grab ones that aren't like, too crazy, like saving for a special occasion or anything like that, but just some nicer alcohol that I can bring down for when Alvor's done yelling at Percy, because I'm sure he'll be pretty thirsty. Um, yeah, I'll do that, and then yeah, make my way back downstairs.
The rest of the ad I know, what have you been getting up to as Alvor and Percy are in their own world? And
I'm going to check on the steel
Jesus.
pit that we reserved as the secret stash for the town to use as their exchange for taxes. I want to make sure that it's
Um,
still adequately full, that there's no particular issue that way, and that it's remained reasonably hidden.
hidden as it is a lot lower than you would have expected it to be. It seems that they've had to tap into this resource a lot more to get by as the state worsens in this area.
Looks like I know what I'm making a scroll of later,
Yeah.
but it's keeping your people alive.
Oh, I guess this is probably going down while I'm upstairs, but what?
In this moment, I think we're going to take another brief break. And then I think at this point, we're arriving at our downtime section. So we can really keep this free flow. We can just kind of discuss what everybody gets up to during this moment of downtime as we're going to spend the next couple of weeks with some downtime. So that means I'm pretty sure I did the math. We have like 28 days of downtime before the cocktail party at the whatever Lord Keeper's name, the Friars cocktail party. So we'll be back, and then we're gonna discuss what we get up to in downtime for the rest of our evening. We'll see you in a second. So, approaching downtime. Um, I know the party had a few questions for Alvor about everything that transpired in Callum Dune. We can start off with that segment and then just kind of branch from there. Is that something we're interested in? I'm kind of leaving the ball in your court, and whatever subject we want to cover first, we'll cover.
I
I
think
think,
that's a good place to start.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I'm fine with it.
So the Arena will, along with Alvor, find their way and found seating in the combined kitchen and dining room of the upper level of Riemann Family Forge. You see Alvor with a very tall glass beside him and the bottle beside him as well, as he's knocking back a drink and 2 or 3 sips and pouring him a new glass. And you see behind him there's 2 bottles of fine elven wine that have already been drained and emptied by him. I don't know. Um,
So what exactly is what do you know about what's going on there? It doesn't look like you guys were in good shape.
Their Pax Vindicta took over. Things went from bad to worse. My brethren are being used and abused. I count myself lucky because I held such a higher clerical position. But the boys down in the forge are worked to their fucking limit. They're not getting enough to eat. They don't even live in their living quarters anymore. They're all moved to assigned sleeping areas. It's really a work camp down there.
I saw the shackle marks.
They locked my door from the outside. I fought as hard as I could for the fair treatment of my brother and myself. And every time I was met with more and more and more backlash until finally some fucking prick 20 years younger than me tells me I'm let go. The position that has been held in my family for generations, a position that was my birthright since I was conceived. My father, his father before him, all did the same fucking job I did. Oh, because he sold out to the fucking aggressors. No one's there fighting for him.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. It seems like most major towns, I don't know about other businesses, but probably ones that are necessary to their projects are being flooded with this Pax Vindicta stuff. Seems like a lot of the time they're able to convince the people that it's fine, but obviously that's not the same idea go with you guys. Hell, not many people enjoy doing that other than the ones that get to keep their belly fat.
I I know we owe our creator our lives. I did not think that meant our livelihoods.
Yeah. These these powerful beings that just think they can walk in and do what they want. Definitely a problem. And it's obviously easier said than done to fix that problem. But we're definitely trying our best. Just there's so much different shit going on. It's hard to figure out what to prioritize.
My boys are suffering in there.
Yeah, but at least right now they have a world to suffer in. That might not be the case if we lose our mettle and don't stay focused. At this point, I think even if we were able to take the sanguicides out that are currently at your forge, there's nothing stopping them from just sending twice as many. So we have to get to the root of the problem.
If we could get them out, shut down the forge altogether.
You know
A
what?
home is only a home if you're safe in it.
That's a good point. And whatever they were building there, Alistair, could you mentioned something, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it. What exactly do you think we saw there?
It's a profound amount of equipment that can be modularly crafted together to form a colossal, horrifying construct.
What exactly does colossal mean?
Swatting away people as flies?
Jesus. Our Paylor. Before we get
In any project. Go
too
on,
far
sorry.
into this, we do have a month to kill. So like, if we wanted to like free the forge, like we've got like that's not gonna throw off any shit you got going down, right?
You have time if you want to fucking go take a forge. You'll just have to prep it next week.
Oh,
We
for
can do
sure.
it.
I'm just thinking we've got a month to kill anyways, you know, like
You got a month to kill anyways. If you wanted to, just let me know and
yeah,
I will
well,
prep it.
we'll continue having this conversation. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think this is a conversation better held offline.
No, I just meant like this conversation here with Alvor to see if it's something that we
Yeah.
can
I
feasibly
see.
do. Um, okay, where were we? Oh yeah, you were telling us about the big colossal. Yeah, that's not good. I think realistically, we're putting ourselves at a major disadvantage if we don't try and stop the production of that thing.
I agree. And I think that as much as it would pain me to say, what we truly need to do is we need to cripple the forge, at least for a time. If
Nothing entirely unsavable, but something that would halt the production.
I
if
hate to be the bearer of bad news. That forge is built to withstand thousands of degrees of heat. The
Right.
only way to destroy that forge is to get into the heart and cripple it entirely.
Okay.
It's
I
all or
couldn't agree
nothing.
more.
But if we're able to this I know you're just in a clerical position, but based on what you know, is this work that anybody other than the dwarves could do?
Ulnar is the god of innovation. If he needed something made, he could snap his fingers.
Then why do all this?
Pleasure? Because he can.
Well, either way, whether we cripple the forge or not, as much as I'd hate to see the majestic Callum Dune out of commission, we'd have to get all the dwarves out first.
Agreed.
Those sanguicides are not easy foes. But it might be possible. How many obviously we haven't been like down in the forges and actually seeing like all the shit going down. How many sanguicides did we see like roughly? There's how many out front, how many like just in like the main areas with like squads of dwarves and stuff?
You saw them quite frequently. Like they're a force to be reckoned with on their own. So you probably may have seen 100 or so.
Okay.
Mm,
We definitely can't take on 100 sanguicides, probably more down in like the lower forge levels. What have you gathered so far about the parts and stuff we've been able to you were able to recover, Alistair? Is there any like trick to these things?
If they're crafting it from iron, it'll be as susceptible to rust as any other, magical and otherwise. If there were a way to suddenly drop a swarm of rust monsters into the forge, it would be a veritable feeding frenzy.
Is that something you can do?
Not currently. I can't think of any way to truly call upon aberrations. They sit well outside the scope of most well, most any summoning ritual. At least within magical orders, you can understand and break down how to call upon them and form pacts and dominion over them. Animals, druids can do that all day, but aberrations are outside the typical order, and I don't think I can do that with my current skill. I can't think of any spell that would perform or that could be performed to do so.
Okay. So we're not going to be able to rust them. Definitely can't beat 100 or more of them in a head-on fight.
But maybe if we find the tactical locations to the forge that matter the most, we could attack those areas with resting grasp and shatter chains, break down barriers. As much as it pains me to say, a dust of absorption full of seawater dumped straight into the heart of the forge would cause scalding burns to everyone made of flesh within the mountain, but it would cause considerable damage to the heart of the forge's flame.
Right. But that still leaves the
Alduin,
issue of getting the dwarves out.
Calduin, you, as you hear them discussing this plan, you think of the intricate labyrinth of tunnels that the ancient Asherati used to build deep below the dunes.
Hmm. My people used to build tunnels in the sands. Perhaps, perhaps one led there.
A potential escape route would be good. How big are these tunnels?
Enough for delivery supplies.
Right, but are they big enough for a sanguicide to fit through?
Would they be?
Um, knowing the Asherati, and they're very nomadic in the way that they travel, that they wouldn't use something as clunky or as large as a cart. Just being able to navigate the sands, and I think knowing the small stature of the Asherati, that I don't think they would necessarily need to build the largest of tunnels. You remember back to some being more open, more well traveled, where Asherati used to be able to pass each other, but other tunnels being narrower and windier, um, that sprawl like ant hills beneath the earth.
I don't believe so. They were mostly used for foot traffic.
Good.
We'd carry
That's good.
supplies through, but mostly by hand or travel bags.
So maybe we can figure out a way to cause some sort of distraction and lure a lot of the sanguicides, or at least as many as possible. And then, assuming we can find tunnels that lead into the forge, we can get the dwarves out of there and then cripple the forge.
I think that could work.
So
You get me in, I know these people. And I know those fucking tunnels. In and out. I built some of them.
good. So we'll have to do some research, see if we can find some viable tunnels that lead um, into and out of the forge. And if that works out, we can come up with a plan to evacuate the dwarves, to get Alvor in, allow him to round up his people, get the dwarves out of there, and then close it up behind us and take care of the forge.
I could go speak with the chief, see if he knows of any tunnels that's been discovered.
Okay, we've got concepts of a plan.
Shout out to my boy Nate.
Any notes or objections or anything from anyone? Any thoughts?
I just don't really know how we can go about this without drawing attention. I mean, let's face it, the dwarves will probably be desperate at this point. No offense to you, Avalor, but I think that many of the hardened working dwarves that have seen so much abuse within the last few days, I'm not sure that a gentle trickle of escapees will go unnoticed when everyone wants to make a mad dash out.
Well, I feel like we can start by seeing how many of these tunnels there are. Maybe there's a way we can make multiple escape routes, get as many out as possible. And then that also goes back to potentially causing a distraction that can lure at least a good number of the sanguicides away. So that from the wherever these tunnels end up being, if they even exist.
And then there's the question of how comfortable are you with leaving those that have grown fat off of the abuse of your kind being left behind to swelter inside of the steam? I'm not here to morally control or object to the decisions made. You know from your own experience what your kind have suffered. This is a decision that we put inside of your hands as you would know best.
Agreed.
My people are desperate and hungry. There's a fire deep within them. It just needs to be stoked. You give us an out, they'll get out.
Yeah, we were talking
From
about
what I hear.
the fatties, the ones that are living a life, working with Pax Vindicta. Like we were saying, like, are you cool with just letting them die, like, or, like leaving them? That's what we were asking about.
Spraying blood is a crime punishable only by Arcanos himself. I may not deliver that punishment, but I sure as hell may speed track it. That fucking prick who told me to get out of my office. He's first.
Well, all the we'll do our best to get. No, we will, assuming these tunnels exist and there's a way to do it. We'll get the good dwarves out, and we'll set that place spiraling.
If we can't find the tunnels, I may be able to create one.
Well, hopefully there are some, even if some have just collapsed due to age or lack of use. Just if there are some, even if we can just make a few more, if we can get multiple viable escape routes, I think that would be good.
There is one more question that I have for you, Avalor. How many are there that we have to rescue? How many of your kind is down there that we need to see out? Naturally, you'll want to have everyone. I just want to know what kind of numbers for housing, for moving them, for freeing them from the tyrannical grasp they're currently under. If we need to break up the clan to hide them at Blackwater, to hide parts of the clan here,
We number in high hundreds to 1,000, maybe. Elendune is very large. I don't know if we've ever. I know truly how many are in there, or how many are left.
We'll get them out.
Now I am tired and I am drunk and I'm seeing 6 of you. So I need some sleep.
Yeah, we'll talk to you in the morning. We had something to ask you about.
I should go check on that Percy kid. With lost for words, he just kind of nods and excuses himself from the room. Is there any more conversation that we want out of this conversation, or should we move on with some more downtime things?
as he leaves, I call over to Avalor. By the way, Rupert still owes you from all many years ago.
Good. I still remember. Finish my drink for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add to that for now.
Yeah, I think that we're basically done for the evening.
Right. So as far as downtime goes, what does everyone want to get up to in this little bit? I'll say you guys give yourself we'll say a week to have some rest, some downtime, some preparation time for the rescuing of the dwarves. So I'll say we have a week's worth of time that we can cover. Is there anything anyone wants to divulge into in this present moment? I know, Chris, you have some stuff that you want to craft. In a week's worth of time, what do you end up crafting?
A Rubicon Frenzy for my armor, a scroll of stone to steel, a lesser crystal of a lesser crystal of returning, and let's see, that would be 2, 4, 5. Yeah, let's go ahead and enchant Calduin's revolver to a +1.
All right. No work on your dimensional plane
Oh
this
no,
week.
those are what I'm enchanting. That's a ritual that is part of using that scroll that I bought back in Blackwater.
Right.
So
Can you get that done in this week, or
yes, it takes 7 days.
you want to go ahead and describe this process for us as you create your new dimension?
While normally the spell couldn't function on the prime material plane because of the convergence of all of the multitude of planes coming together, the walls between the realities becoming thin, I start to work the magic in such a way as to breach the very fabric of our world to craft a new one. One shaped from the outside in, appearing almost as though it were a hollow earth. To stare up is to see the opposite side of its existence. Devoid of the typical understanding of mapped shape and dimension, it is in every way utility. To think is to bring life. To direct is to decide what is down, what is up. At the core of this whole plane, there exists a profound shining light of a miniature star as walls form around the outside layer. Each wall, though, is subject to its own gravity. It sees itself as a exemplary morphic existence, sculpted from the magical craft of Alistair. It takes on its own reality. It actively works to shape a conducive workshop of dreams and of nightmare. And slowly, this Escher like existence comes to the fore. Stairs lead off into random directions that become the new down and up. To perceive a wall to segment off as a room brings it into being. And so it becomes his private residence of ultimate craftsmanship.
As the workshop, this new dimension comes into being, wind passes over your face like a deep breath as a vision of a long, gargantuan amethyst claw reaches out to you, and as it grasps, the vision vanishes, and before you is your workshop.
It's beautiful. Now to get Zinnia here.
What does anyone else get up to during this week?
Um, since when in Rome, I'd like to collect anybody's weapons who want it, and just throughout the week, just any weapons and or armor or anything that we have, with especially with Alvor here to help. I'd like to just do my best to sharpen any blades and fix up any armor or anything like that, any battle that it's seen, just to get it into good shape.
During one of your times sharpening up, you are currently you're sharpening Calduin's blade, the rust red uh, perfect blade of the Sword of the Setting Suns. You currently heating the blade and pulling it away and beginning to sharpen the edges. You begin to feel a hum. Go ahead and roll me Knowledge Arcana.
Sure. Oof. That's not good. That's a
I'll say
10.
with advantage because
Okay.
I'll say with advantage because you're in your home.
18.
18. That's a lot better. You begin to feel this arcane hum. Enough to stop you from your work as you look up from the anvil towards the flickering forge. The hum feels like a living heartbeat beckoning you not towards the forge, but beneath it.
Beneath it, how? Like,
You're not sure. Is that something feels like it's pulsing and reaching towards you from near the forge but deep within the earth.
Um, do we have any sort of like cellar or anything?
No. A lot of Scorched Town has been the Scorched Town had to have been built very horizontally because of the the lack of sturdiness beneath the sand in this area.
Hmm. Does anything happen if I move the blade like closer to the ground? Like,
It's not from the blade itself. This feels like
okay.
something else reaching towards you.
Can I um let's see. Can I attempt to focus on this energy in some way to like see if I don't know if I can tell where it's coming from or a little more about what it is or
On your 18 of Knowledge Arcana, this piquing your interest, drawing you away from your work, you put the blade down and begin to approach the forge as the hum grows stronger. You place your hand upon upon the forge, feeling its residual heat. You feel almost like a heartbeat echoing with this hum. I will say, hmm, just looking down at my list of skills here to see what might be applicable. Hmm. I would just say give me a craft blacksmithing check.
okay. Come on, baby. Okay. Let's see here. That's um do you want like yeah, that'll be 17.
You've been familiar with this forge your whole life. This is what you were passionate about before you ever wanted to become a knight. Approaching the forge now and feeling it with now your inner arcane eye unlocked, you begin to focus for a moment, aligning your heartbeat with the heartbeat of the stone. You feel that tugging like a thread pulling you beneath the earth, where you feel there is a secret door hidden beneath the forge.
Hmm. Can I think of I guess anywhere in the forge that would potentially give some sort of access to anything?
You think that the entrance to the to the door is beneath the forge itself.
Okay.
Like, to access this, you will need to break into and beneath the forge.
Well, perhaps. Okay. I do have a friend who can swim through sand, which this house happens. This whole town happens to be built on. But okay. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna find Calduin.
Where can Calduin be found?
I've found a place to sit in the shop. With being around so many, so much creativity of being of the forge and the smithing and everything else, it's given me some ideas. So I've sat down in a small corner by myself with my jar of shape sand and some bullets laid out in front of me.
Okay. Tobin's gonna kind of rush in from the back area and see you sitting out in the front. I'm just gonna. It's kind of a little bit. You can tell he's a little like, I don't know. I don't know. Like a little bit eccentric right now.
Frazzled?
Yeah, like just a little bit energized, and so he's kind of Calduin.
Yeah,
I He's kind of scratching his head. I don't know what exactly it could be, but listen, here's where my mind's going. He's just kind of pacing around. He's just my the shop on the door. You said that's Asherati, right?
I did.
And you said there's tunnels that kind of go in and throughout all the sand, right?
Yes.
I don't ask me to explain this to you, but for some reason, I feel like I know there's a door somehow hidden under the forge. I don't know if it's Asherati in nature, but before I'd start like tearing apart the forge or like trying to dig my way down there, is there any way you could swim around in the sand under here and see if you can see anything?
I could give it a shot.
Okay, thank you. Like I have no real reason to believe it has any Asherati origin, but just that and I don't. It came to me while I was working on your sword. The energy I felt, it wasn't from your sword, but it happened while I was working on your sword. I just yeah, if you could just help me.
Just point me to where you need me to look.
Um Kind of like right under the forge. I don't We can take a look around the house, see if there seems like a good area of sand for you to do your thing. I don't know how your thing works, so
As long as it's deep enough, I can swim in it.
okay. So I guess we'll head outside, trying to find a patch of sand for him to dive down into. Well, I guess it's probably mostly sand, but like a good area for like
Yeah,
launch.
out in the forge is a little bit more of like hardened, compacted sand that it would be harder. But you guys exit out the front door to a patch of breeze enough sand that you're able to uh, confidently dive into. Remind me on how your sand swim works.
So basically,
On like what certain types of materials you can go through, that kind of thing.
As long as it's regular sand, I can swim through anything that's not slip sand, I believe it was. Let me double check.
Well, hopefully our forefathers were smart enough not to build the town on slip sand.
Are you subject to the drowning rules for being under there? Do we need to give you the bottle of air?
Nope. While I'm swimming under sand, I'm perfectly fine.
Okay.
And you can't swim through like sandstone and stuff, right?
No. It needs, here,
No.
let me pull up the actual Usher page.
While you're doing that, I will be back in 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Someone plug the channels.
Yeah, check out Fan Rantan on the YT. Fender podcast, it's a pretty good one too. If you're on Spotify, check out our YouTube. If you're on YouTube, check out our Spotify if you want it on the go. And Spotify if you want to see our pretty faces. Well, some of us. Not saying not all of us are pretty, just not all of us are always showing our faces all the time. But yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right.
Sand swim. As merfolk is to the sea, an Asherati is to sand, ash, dust, and even soft sand, but not slip sand, packed dirt, or rock. An Asherati can swim through such materials as land speed while wearing light armor or carrying heavy load, and of course drops to 5 feet when heavier armor carries medium load. I can breathe normally while under the sands, but of course it does not allow me to breathe like it but it's only in those materials.
Perfect. So, swimming below the surface, directed by Tobin to search, particularly beneath the forge. You swim forward and feel your hand out to feel a sandstone structure beneath the sand, beneath the forge itself. You can feel a built stone doorway. Yeah, actually, never mind. You would know this without a roll. You can actually tell that this is Asherati craft. Just by the way of the shaped sandstone, the way that the door has been crafted, you can tell that this there beneath the door is a small antechamber, and in there is a small structure of some kind. Leading from there is a tunnel.
I investigate the tunnel a little bit.
You notice based on the shape and size, this is one of those skinny man tunnels that was used as foot traffic long ago, just as you suspected. Beneath all the sands, there is a tunnel that leads here to Scorchtown, and it leads right beneath Riemann Family Forge.
I swim back up. You're right. There's something down there, and it's Asherati too. It's a tunnel going
Good.
right to it.
Good. All right, can you help me clear the forge? I think the entrance has to be under there. I can't think of anywhere else where
Sure thing.
you can go. So yeah, I'll take the time to stop bellowing any air into the forge and let it cool down and remove what I can. And then once it's cool, getting into the nitty gritty and pulling out any stuff I can so I can take a look and see what I see.
As you begin to pull stones away and uncover stuff, you realize that you're really going to have to dig beneath this forge, and you're going to have to, unfortunately, cripple it in order to access the store.
Are you sure you want to go through with this?
Well, we definitely got to see what's down there, especially if it's if the tunnel might go to Callum Dune. This would be very helpful for us. Um, if I got to remove the stone under this forge, you know, let's get Alistair. If like you're not like 24/7 working on stuff like during this week, right?
No.
Okay, so at a time that like you're available, I'll pop into the hole or wherever and come find you, Alistair.
You hear plenty of noise coming from the workshop level from the handiwork of Zinnia, and at the same time, Alistair is working on the same level, kind of shaping and molding what looks like an ethereal silly putty.
Mm. Um, Alistair, hey.
Hey, I was thinking about doing a kind of cross-hatched pattern for the flooring.
Oh, that's that's cool. Do you think you have a minute? Well, a few minutes rather.
Yeah, I'm just working on some ornamentation right now.
Oh, okay. I want you to come take a look at some, and I'll lead him up to the forge.
Okay.
And um, me and Calduin have reason to believe there is a hidden door that leads to an Asherati tunnel under the forge here. If Well, first of all, if you have something that could help us dig it out, that'd be great. But also, if I were to dig it out, do you think you could use one of your fancy, I don't know, stone wall spells or whatever to help me like fix it later if we have to? Don't want to put the forge entirely out of business.
I eyeball up and down Tobin. Exactly, how far down are you going?
Calvin, what do you think?
How far down would I have gone?
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Thank you. I would say it's below the foundations enough to be about 6 to 8 feet.
Okay.
6 to 8 feet?
Roughly.
Okay, well. Let's see. I kind of eyeball up the width of Tobin's shoulders and waist. Yeah, this might work. Put me right over top of this tunnel that you want to make.
I just kind of walk him towards the forge and like squish him into the forge. Just there.
Straight down here?
Yep.
Okay. I cast Fabricate, condensing all of the contents of 6 feet down, 1 foot by 1 foot, and just pushing it outwards.
Pushing it outwards, how? Can you elaborate
Yeah, what does that
on
mean?
that real quick?
Basically, I'm condensing all of the stonework outwards, creating a very small tunnel that, if he's about 2 feet wide and no more than 1 foot thick, he should be able to just kind of spelunk his way down.
You see kind of like almost living earth, the sand begins to pile up beside the forge until there's a very, very claustrophobically small passage that leads down towards what looks to be almost like an external almost like a storage unit, double doors, like the slanted style that's built beneath the earth.
If
I
you
don't
need it to
know.
be wider, I can cast it again, but if you're good with that, then here's an ever burning torch from the hole.
I start glowing. I got us covered.
Or you could do that.
Will it fit?
I mean, I can cast again in order to make another, or bring it up to 2 feet by 2 feet.
So you might have to
by
cast
6
it again, not for the entrance, but just to create a gap big enough to be able to open the door beneath the surface.
That's fair.
So I'd say you would have to use a second usage to create a small chamber for which both of these guys can land beneath and open the door.
I've got 3 castings a day of my 5th level spells. I'm on board.
All right.
Perfect. Creating enough of a gap where both of you need to splunk down individually into this claustrophobic tunnel. You guys set up a rope. Just give me a general used rope check from the both of you as you guys navigate your way down this tunnel.
Neutral. I got like
16.
Yeah, use that one. This man knows his ropes.
What did you get, James?
7.
Devin. Calduin, you descend first, activating your glowing body and descending down the rope and placing yourself in such a way, and you call back up towards Alistair and Tobin at the top. You see Tobin beginning to slowly descend as you watch. He places his left foot against the wall as it slips out, spilling some sand down into the passage as he kind of slips and rapidly falls until he's able to catch himself just before he fully drops and stabilizes. And as you kind of reach out your arm to help him fully stabilize down into this tiny, tiny chamber that you're in.
Let me
This
see.
brings back memories.
Yeah, at least you caught me. Sorry about your leg.
Oh, good.
You look upon these doors crafted from sandstone. Written upon it is Asherati script.
What's it say?
Yes, what does it say?
Calduin,
Oh yeah, that
you
was me
read.
asking Calvin and then Calvin
Yeah,
asking you.
yeah. Don't worry. I was about to tell you that. Calduin, you read. Herein lies Aurelius Tobin Raymond, his final resting place.
Holy shit. It's a tomb.
Seems like it.
Well, I guess if there's a chance there's a tunnel in here that leads to Callum Dune, we gotta go in there. Do I recognize that name?
Aurelius Tobin Raymond is your great grandfather, the one who was seen with Calduin's ancestor a long time ago in that vision that Calduin got from the Sword of Setting Suns.
Is this the which ancestor was it that I met briefly in the afterlife?
That would have been your grandfather. That was the
Oh,
one
right, yeah.
who.
Yeah.
That was the one who committed atrocities during the Purge.
Yeah.
His father was the former Archmage of
Yeah.
Veilbridge, Aurelius Riamond, who was seen with Anatduin, who is, I believe he was Calduin's ancestor, where they had a good relationship together before it all was soured by the events of the Purge.
Yeah. All right.
If our
I
ancestors
guess.
could see us now.
I mean, if anybody should go into this grave, I guess it's us, right? An Asherati and a direct descendant.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
want to do
Is
the
there like
honors?
is there a handle and whatever? Is it like sealed shut or what?
There is a handle. I would like you to go ahead and roll me a strength check as you're
Okay.
opening it.
That is 16.
16. The stone cracks as you pull on the handle of one of the sides of the door. As the musk of old underground building hits your nose. That's where we're going to end it for tonight's session.
Cool.
As we're going to pick up with Indiana Jones here. Fucking Tomb Raiders. Laura Croft and Indiana Jones.
Obviously, Calduin's Indiana Jones. He kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
the
of
old
course.
expression goes, when does grave robbing turn into archaeology?
That's the age-old question.
With that, we're going to end tonight's episode. I'll see you all next week with a little bit of news as we're ending this session. I am almost ready to run my first D20 Modern adventure that will be happening sometime maybe in April. I do want to let my players know that when we do run this adventure, this will be continuous, where we're going to take a step away from the Boundless Shores and run this adventure sometime in April. I'll let you know what dates when we have a good flow time towards that. So those of you who have not created your D20 Modern characters, go ahead and do that. If you want any help, reach out to me. I think it would be a lot of fun to release a Paradise episode where we get to talk all about D20 Modern. We get to talk about the rules, the differences between 3.5 and D20, and our thoughts going into the adventure. But again, I will let you know when dates become more clear to me. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. And because Nate's not here, we're all going to do his line at the same time. On 3, we're gonna go. Bye. Have a great time. 3. Bye. Have a great.
I
No, I'm
have a
kidding.
great.
I'm
Bye.
not
Oh,
gonna do it.
fuck.
1, 2. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do it. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye. Have a
Bye. Have a
wonderful
great
time.
time. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Peace.